Guys, so today I'm going to be doing another, I guess I'm going to call these like Jasmine talks or whatever. I don't really have a term for these videos, but basically just giving y'all my opinion on things. So today I just want to talk about, here, let me sit up. Ugh. Sorry guys, so unprofessional looking video. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about basically feminism and like sexism with the terms like slut and whore. Like basically just focusing on those two. So really quickly, I'm just going to read the definition of feminism and then like give you my thoughts on it. So feminism, it says the advocacy of women's rights on the grounds of political, social, and economic equality to men. So that's your basic definition of the word feminism. So it's saying being equal to men on political, social, and economic grounds or whatever. See, that definition of it doesn't sound that wrong, but you know, political equality and economic equality, those kind of are a lot more easier to measure than social equality. So getting to the social equality and being equal to men in that aspect of it, it's really hard to like measure it and kind of explain that or even show that it even exists. Although there are definitely a lot of examples of, you know, social inequality between men and women. Okay, so especially with the terms. Okay, now let me get to the term slut. So first of all, I'm going to get the definition of slut really quickly. I just read it a second ago, but I'm going to have to look it up. So the definition of slut is, the first definition is a woman who has many casual sexual partners, and the second is a woman with low standards of cleanliness. Okay, so this is what irritates me about that word. You know, slut shaming, no slut shaming, you know, that's a whole different story, but like the actual term slut in and of itself is sexist. Let's just think about it. Why does slut, in definition, only refers to a woman, even though the actions of the woman can be done by both sexes? That to me is extremely just like annoying. And so, you know, to call a man a slut, you call them a man slut. And to call a man a whore, you have to call them a man whore. Like, isn't that so like irritating to me? Why can't a slut be a slut and a whore be a whore regardless of sex? That to me is, those terms that of them in and of themselves are sexist by definition. So, you know, that's really what irritates me about this word. And now I'm just gonna kind of what made me make this video. If you guys watched the video Maddie and Tay, a girl in a country song, it was like a really big video, and basically they're showing how men think of women in country songs, and they had like so much little respect in the videos and stuff like that. So I'm guessing a male commented this, and his response was, well, shit, maybe if girls weren't so slutty, they wouldn't be treated like property. Parentheses, not all girls. I like girls that are smart and respectful. In order to get respect. Oh, that was in parentheses. Most songs, parentheses, not necessarily country, just promote sluttiness. Anaconda, fancy, you name it. I always see girls listening to music like that. It's sad, actually. It's as if they are inspired by it. I want a smart, responsible woman, not a slutty little fuck buddy. Parentheses, again, not saying all girls are like that. I just see this a lot. I'm not sexist in any way, shape, or form. So that was a comment, and as you guessed it, it got a lot of very heated responses, of which I was going to respond to it, but I decided to just make a video about it because I felt like I had a lot more to say about it that I couldn't get down in a comment in a decent way. So, well, I kind of have to read some of the replies. So one of the responses was, it basically turned into, you know, how do you determine what a slut is, basically. And so that's why I kind of gave you the definition at first, because you kind of have to get an idea of what it means to be a slut. What is a slut to really even slut shame somebody? And okay, so basically Oh yeah, that's another part of it. Was one girl said that she didn't believe in sluts and that sluts don't exist. I'm like, and that to me is a little bit too far, you know. To me, sluts very well do exist. There's a definition. It means, well, the sexist definition is a woman who has many casual sex partners, whether you believe that to be a good or bad thing. That is the whole thing about this, you know. People or girls want to deny that they're a slut, and like, no, you can say you're a slut. It's your opinion on it, and you can have a negative opinion on it or a positive opinion on it. It's dependent on that person, which is why I don't list anything that's definitely my opinion. I never list it as a fact, because that annoys the heck out of me. When other people list their opinion and state it as if it is a fact and not their opinion, that pisses me off so much. So yeah, so basically the whole argument was about how we use the term slut and blah 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 blah. So I'm saying the term slut itself, I've already said that it is a sexist word because it only refers to a woman, and for it to refer to a man, you have to put the term man in front of said word, whatever. So yeah, I've already, address that, whatever. Moving on. So, okay, back to this whole idea of, and this kind of goes into slut shaming and whether or not it actually exists. And she said sluts doesn't exist, and what does it mean to be a slut? So, by definition, to be a slut, doesn't matter how you dress, you just have to have a lot of casual sex partners or a low level of cleanliness. So, if you're a person who has a low level of cleanliness, you are a slut. And if you have many casual sex partners, you are a slut. Now, that's the whole thing. Like, we say slut like it's a bad thing, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It's just at the end of the day, it's just a term that has a definition and means something, like factually, So I can't get what I'm saying, socially and psych or mentally, it might have different definitions, different meanings, different people, but by definition, that really is all it means. And, going to that, if you think that a person who has many casual sexual partners, is a good thing or a bad thing, that is up to you. But at the end of the day, they're still a slut. But you decide whether that has a positive or negative connotation to it, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion about it. So it's not like you can say, well, you can't call that person blah 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 and blah 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 blah. And I'm not saying, to call someone a slut is just rude as hell anyway. Like, you shouldn't be calling people names. You should just stick to yourself. You can have your opinion, but you should voice it nicely and respectfully to somebody, and I feel like your opinion should really only be voiced. I feel like there's very little situations where your opinion should be voiced only if you feel as if you're being disrespected. Somebody has disrespected you in some way. You're trying to say, well, hey, this is my opinion and I'm entitled to it. But stating your opinion where it's not necessarily needed or wanted is kind of obnoxious and unnecessary. Not meaning that you can't, you can do whatever you want, but it's kind of just like no one cares to have it. So, understand that people have different opinions on things, and that's kind of like my thing with feminism and feminists. I don't think I would. I don't know if I would say I'm a feminist or not. The definition of feminism, I agree that men and women should be treated equally on a political, social, and economic scale, duh. But, a lot of feminists kind of take everything and being sexist and something like that. And I already explained that the term slut itself is sexist, but it's not sexist to call someone a slut. Or, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically just that, take things in strides and make sure it makes sense, because a lot of people, I feel like a lot of feminists nowadays are trying to say that, being a slut doesn't exist and girls can do whatever they want, and it's no one's saying that you can't be upfront with your sexuality. That doesn't make someone a sexist because they have a different opinion on things. We're fighting for equality, for social, and then social equality is it's definitely hard to measure because it's it can only affect you when it's added to some political or economic thing. That's how being socially inequality affects you. It affects you by affecting some other tangible, measurable aspect of whatever it is. So if a guy thinks women are stupid socially or whatever, and then they apply for a job and he says no because he believes society has taught him that women are a certain type of way, that's how it affects that woman economically. But so yeah, I just have a lot of opinions on that whole subject. But yeah, basically it's just I don't sometimes feminists, I feel take everything or just go too far with things, or they're trying to make the picture about saying it's okay to be a slut. I mean, people can have different opinions. Everyone's not gonna all of a sudden jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh, being a slut is great. People aren't gonna do that. Whether someone thinks it's good or not shouldn't matter. I mean, it's their own opinion. You can't change that. There's someone who is a slut now not saying I don't excuse me. I don't have the right to judge someone who people say is a slut. I would never call someone a slut myself. Me personally, I wouldn't do that. But trying to say that it doesn't exist and all that stuff, that was just a little too much for me, which is why I made this video. And so really quickly, I'm just going to try to find some more of the comments. It was a pretty long comment section. But, okay, so going back to his comment, I mean, I kind of actually agreed with it, about, at least when the respect part of it, you give respect, you earn respect. And let me find a definition of respect, because I don't like to talk about things and not have the definition of it, because having the definition kind of helps you better argue, make your point better, if you can't even say what the definition of respect is. So respect is first definition, a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Or two, a particular aspect, point, or detail. And then as a verb, to respect someone means that you admire deeply as a result of their abilities, qualities, or achievements. So, with that definition of respect is basically saying that you admire someone based on their abilities, qualities, and or achievements. So, whether someone decides to respect you or not is definitely their own. It depends on whether they admired your qualities, abilities, or achievements, whatever. That was the definition. So, with the whole demand respect, give respect part of this whole, his whole comment in the first place, it was basically just I agreed with that to some point. If you as a girl know a certain guy, and it just goes to each individual situation, it's kind of hard to put something as a set definition on a whole scale and saying well, what am I trying to say? So basically he was girls who dress slutty, blah, 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 don't get respect. And, feminists want to argue, well, just because she's a slut, and it's we have to learn to separate, someone's opinion from being on a worldwide scale. You're not going to change people's opinions. People are entitled to their own opinions, wrong or right. I didn't really find anything offensive in his comments. Maybe just because I'm not, don't think about it the same way. I do believe that sluts exist. Just by definition, they exist. Slut shaming, I didn't really look that up. I'm going to make a separate video on that once I, do my research, get the definition, and form my own actual opinion on it. But, right now just thinking about the term slut and, so by definition, you cannot dress like a slut. You cannot well, I guess you can act like a slut by doing what the definition is that, but dressing, you can't. So that's the one thing that was wrong with this comment. You cannot dress like a slut, because the slut is an act. It's not a thing that you look like, basically. So if someone says you look like a slut, they're incorrect, because you cannot look like a slut. So in that definition, girls should be able to wear whatever they want without being called a slut, because that is not what slut means. So that was the only valid argument that feminists could say towards him, because slut has a clear definition and is a certain action or actions. So yeah, So okay, well, now that I've said that, I kind of have to go back on some. I don't know what my name. I don't remember what I said and all that. But calling a girl a slut or saying a girl is a slut for what they dress like is not okay, because you can't dress like a slut, you can't look like a slut. There's no definition of what a slut looks like. Okay. And that's basically it. I think I addressed most of the things that I really wanted to address in this, So you can't slut shame someone based off of how they look. That is completely irrelevant. Judging girls by what they wear is completely irrelevant, because that has nothing to do with what it means to be a slut or any other thing like that. So I guess that's really the good message I want to get off. There's no definition of what a slut looks like, because a slut can look like anything. A slut could be wearing I can't think of the term. I don't want to say disrespectful thing, but if a slut was could be wearing a turtleneck and a long skirt and have her entire hair covered or whatever, and still be a slut because of her actions. So, judging someone as being a slut by what they wear is wrong and completely irrelevant and doesn't make sense. So that is all I have to say about that today. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please comment, like, and subscribe. If you have any questions for me, just list them down below, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!
It's like 25 the laughs that you bust out of prison. Something's in the air, something's in the air. It's like that feeling.